Buenas, soy Sevedat y estamos en el capítulo 23 del Let's Play de Triangle Strategy. Vámonos. Sí, dejo así en cosas muy importantes. Hablo ahora con la reina Cordelia e intento huir en un barco. Casa Wolford evita con éxito esta estrategia y Aurora se zambule en el río de Norselia.
Some of the remaining Frosty soldiers fight tooth and nail to keep their hold on the city, but are eventually bested by the Hyzantian army. Though Glenbrook has taken more damage than anticipated, her people are safe, and House Wolford breathes a sigh of relief to see their plan fulfilled.
¿A cambio de qué? Vaya. Suerte, ataque físico, precisión, evasión.
My blade shall attest to my convictions.
¿Quién más? ¿Y a quién más le pongo? Ataque furtivo. Aumenta el daño infligido cuando la unidad está en estado de sigilo. Está cercano. Todos los enemigos dentro del alcance del arma de la unidad sufrirán daño físico durante el siguiente número de turnos. ¿Cómo? Liebre fugaz. Puta idea. Táctica gélida. Afortunada. Farmacología táctica. ¿Qué aprendes? Céntrate. Otorga inmunidad contra los estados alterados de silencio, furia y encantamiento. ¡Hostia! ¿Tú qué aprendes? Poder ardiente. Aumenta el ataque mágico de la unidad si está sobre una casilla en llamas. Vaya caca. Ah, vale. Defensa bajo presión. Dual Fortune. Los voy a guardar por si acaso. Tengo estos dos. Ah, aquí están los de estos de revivir, claro. Comprar. Sortija de PV, sortija de ataque mágico. Defensa mágica. Turururu. No hay nada más, ¿verdad? No. Vaya la que se ha liado. La que se ha liado.
It looks like she's overcome the worst of it. Once she wakes up, she should be fine.
Thank you, Minister Lila. She would not have made it without you.
Glenbrook was our ally during the fight against Esfrost. You need not thank me, Prince. My apologies. I suppose I should call you King Roland now.
No. My enthronement has yet to be announced.
I see. I shall take my leave.
Estoy seguro de que la gente de la ciudad preferirán a la reina. Segurísimo. Bueno, casi al 100%.
Thank goodness. But why Cordelia? Why did you shield our enemy?
Overwhelmed by the forces of House Wolford, Esfrost's troops are scattered and driven from the Crown City. Glenbrook, at last, is free. Several days after this fateful battle, Queen Cordelia announces her intent to abdicate the throne and make way for another. Roland Glenbrook, his face no longer hidden from the world, will take his rightful place at the seat of power.
Solo han tardado un día en hacer esto, me encanta.
With the prince's friends having only just finished grieving his death, and his enemies having only just finished toasting to it, this news shocks the foundations not only of Glenbrook, but of Nozelia itself. By routing Esfrost's forces and leaving the city unscathed, House Wolford displays their martial prowess and their loyalty to their liege. The prince becomes king and condemns the schemes of Gustadolf, making known Esfrost's plot to usurp the throne. However, the people's reaction to this news is not quite a chorus of approval. It is plain that the ravages of war and the shame of subjugation have left an indelible mark on the once prosperous nation. Although the battle for Glenbrook is behind them, Serenoa and the rest of the city's liberators must make ready for a struggle of an entirely different sort.
La gente no está contenta. La gente no está contenta. Va hacia donde vaya. Ve hacia donde la gloria te aguarda.
Congratulations on returning to your rightful throne, King Roland.
Ah, you've returned. My friend, a word.
Yes.
I am honored to have had you by my side on this journey. To be able to call you friend.
As am I, Roland.
Your Majesty, representatives from Hyzant have arrived.
We shan't make undue demands of your time, King Roland. We've simply come to say farewell.
Without your aid, my people would still be under Esfrost's iron rule. Glenbrook...
Consider the debt paid. The knowledge we gleaned of Elfric's capabilities was more than worth our troubles.
Indeed, it surpassed my every expectation. The Holy One is sure to be pleased with the results.
Your Majesty, can we trust you to lift the embargo and keep Esfrost subdued?
Of course. Lord Wolfort has promised his full cooperation in that regard.
Your Majesty, lest you misunderstand your friend's position, allow me to make one matter abundantly clear. Minister Serenoa is of the Saintly Seven. He is not to serve at your whims, but by the grace of the Hierophant.
I understand, but he is also a Lord of Glenbrook. More importantly, he is my friend. As such, I would ask for his assistance in the days ahead, as I have in days past.
Hijos de fruta, ya sabía yo que no saldría así de bien.
Your Majesty, it is plain that the friendship between you two runs deep. However, the rules of politics are old and immutable.
And what does the Lord himself think of his new position?
Of course, I am grateful for the honor Hyzant has bestowed upon me.
Uy,
I will do all in my power to serve both the Hierophant and King Roland
vale.
with all faithfulness.
In other words, the Hierophant does not have your full loyalty.
Well,
Glenbrook and Hyzant are to be two nations united in purpose. Surely it is reasonable that Lord Serenoa acts in service to both?
buena salvación, Benedict. Buena salvación, joder.
Perhaps King Roland and the Hierophant should discuss my lord's role together.
Buenísima, Benedict. Buenísima, joder.
You are right, of course. It is not our place to assume the goddess's intent.
Very well. I hope to meet with the Holy One as soon as my duties allow. I expect busy days ahead for you, Serenoa. Be prepared.
certainly, Your Majesty.
Milo shall stay in Glenbrook for the time being. If there is aught she can assist you with,
Ya, una
consider
espía,
her at your complete disposal.
pero no me gusta nada como personaje. No tiene nada de útil.
Remember, Milo, that you are the symbol of friendship between our two nations.
But of course, I live...
And with that, we shall take our leave.
May we meet again soon.
O sea, nos quedamos con Milo.
They leave us with a spy. It seems we still haven't won their trust entirely.
Whatever secrets they uncover will only attest to our commitment to the friendship between us.
Still, their actions speak volumes. Their aid has not come without expectation of just recompense.
Como todos, ¿no?
Already they seek to make Lord Serenoa their puppet.
But we need Hyzant's aid to crush Esfrost.
By the same token, we cannot resist Hyzant without Esfrost's might. And once Esfrost is laid low, Glenbrook will have served its purpose. What then would stop Hyzant from tightening their grip?
Vaya.
Just as they did with the Rosal. The injustice I saw at the source is not something I'll soon forget. If you require proof of Hyzant's true nature, you need only remember.
I know. This country is my home. Built by my father and the kings before him. Safeguarded by my sister and generations of my forebears. I will rebuild it. Restore its glory and its pride. We will not be treated as dogs at the end of a leash.
For now, we must look within. Only after that work is done should we look without.
So, the Crown City has fallen. I see. And what of General Avlora?
She fell into the Norzelia River and has not been seen since.
And my siblings, Thalos and Erica?
They died, fighting bravely in battle. My condolences, Your Grace.
I understand. I have fewer pieces on the board than ever now.
Pieces. Really is true what they say about him.
It seems I was wrong to think that Hyzant would remain idle. Or was my more grievous error to be taken in by the prince's false death? Regardless, I was a fool to show House Wolford any mercy.
Your Grace, reports from the battlefield tell of an unknown weapon being brought to bear against our forces.
Oh? Continue.
A purple explosion was seen when the bridge to Castle Whiteholm collapsed.
That bridge has weathered the elements for untold generations. We mustn't allow Hyzant to think they've won the upper hand. I intend to answer their weapon with one of my own.
Hacia donde la gloria te guarda. Sí, guardar la partida. Quiero más unidades, quiero más unidades.
After retaking Whiteholm Castle, Roland assumes the throne. Joy over the return of the line of Glenbrook sweeps the kingdom. Yet not everyone is quick to welcome Roland back with open arms. Life under Esfrosti rule treated them well, and they suspect him to be naught but a figurehead of a puppet regime. Roland's absence, it seems, made room for discord among his subjects to flourish.
Las banderas del rey se enarbolan. Lo tiene
There
difícil,
you are, Your
Roland.
Majesty.
Ah, Huet.
Pray, do not sound so dismal. Now that we have retaken Whiteholm Castle, you are Glenbrook's rightful king. We've an entire kingdom to rebuild out of the ruins of war. Patriot and the others have been demanding utmost haste.
I understand that, I do. But... oh, Cordelia. If I should lose you too, I
know you have suffered many hardships, but pray, do not let yourself succumb to despair. Me, our comrades, your people, all of us are eagerly awaiting the era of peace our new king will bring.
King, eh? My father never once let his emotions overcome him. Not even the day my mother died. I had every intention of following his stoic example, but...
Majesty, I bring word from the infirmary.
Is it Cordelia?
She is indeed recovering apace, Your Majesty.
Oh, thank the stars.
It seems she has something to discuss with you all, if you will hear her out.
Of course. Tell her we'll speak in the garden, but only if it will not tax her overmuch.
Yes, sire.
Huet, Fetch Serenoa and the rest. Tell them to come to the garden as soon as they are
Percy
able.
Divino, hablarás sobre Avlora, ¿verdad?
Twould be my pleasure.
Y te dirá, no, no lo quiero aquí. Y dirá, sí, porque te lo digo yo, jódete, Roland. Y él, bueno, vale.
What is it? You're smiling.
It's only... I thought it would be some time yet before I saw you look so at ease. I'll return shortly with the others.
Cordelia, you've returned to me after so long.
Sí, pero está cambiada, compañero.
But slow and steady is the path to recovery. Yes, there is no rush.
Estás en medio de una guerra. Roland, quítate lo de la tranquilidad de la cabeza.
So that is what happened in my absence.
Yes. Gustadolf was a clever ruler. After the invasion, Patriot and his royalists cozied up to Esfros in order to protect themselves. Gustadolf used them to his every advantage. He stripped them of their privileges and left them nothing but their governing responsibilities. I don't think Patriot much cared for that, but it did ensure everything continued smoothly, without interrupting the people's lives.
Now I understand why there was little unrest after the occupation began.
A clean, effective takeover by a well-seasoned commander.
But all the while, he was preparing to face the next conflict.
Wait, does he intend to march on Hyzant next?
I believe so. I wish I could be more specific. But the Goddess's shield cannot protect the Holy State's capital from Esfrost. Not anymore. He said it will all be over once the death snell is ready.
What is this death snell?
A new weapon born from the coupling of his frosty ironworking and explosive projectiles. Thalos claimed it is powerful enough to break through the Goddess's shield.
To think Esfrost is capable of creating such a monstrosity.
So much for their reign of peace. Taking over Glenbrook was only the first move in a bigger gambit to seize the source.
I am disturbed to learn of Gustadolf's plan. But rebuilding our capital must take priority.
Very well. We should investigate the extent of the damage and discuss how best to proceed from there. House Wolfort will lend whatever aid you need.
Thank you, Serenoa. But since you are one of their Saintly Seven now, I'd ask you to keep an eye on Hyzant as well.
Cordelia? Apologies. A brief spell of dizziness.
I have been looking everywhere for you, Your Highness.
Patriot.
I do not recall giving you leave of the infirmary. Your injuries are still healing. Would you undo all the trouble I went through to get you the best of care? Pray, return to the infirmary at once.
Curandería.
It wouldn't do to push yourself, Cordelia. Rest now.
¿Por qué no le has dicho de que Alvora está con nosotros? O sea, ahora es de los nuestros. Todo el mundo es subnormal aquí, a veces. ¿Por qué no has dicho de que Alvora te ha jurado lealtad a ti? Toma.
We got a pretty good understanding of the damage in the capital, my lord. It's a tad more than we were expecting.
I see. Then we must make haste with repairs. Let's report this to Hyzant and see what aid they can give us.
Si no dan ninguno, ¿qué?
Was there anything of note besides damage?
There ain't an easy way of putting this, but not everyone's exactly pleased to hear Prince Roland's returned. Esfrost exempted Glenbrook's subjects from the salt tax. Likely a bid to get in everyone's good graces. And a damn good one at that. But more than that, the so-called freedom Gustadolf brought to the kingdom seems to have made a splash. He threw out the old ways and made it so anyone could better their lot in life dependent on their ability, instead of their...
Just as in Esfrost.
Then the people must have looked quite favorably upon Gustadolf's rule.
I wager folks ain't too pleased to see us, since they figure it means things will go back to how they used to be.
Roland surmised as much. We must do something to show the people his is a return worth celebrating.
Anna, have you looked into the state of affairs in the castle?
Yes. The head of the Royalists, Minister Patriot, is extending his influence. He made quite the name for himself, even under Gustadolf. Though he seems eager enough to support King Roland, he was just as eager to serve the Archduke. I do not believe we can trust him.
Distinguished members of House Wolford, how hard you are all working to rebuild our capital. What a delightful thing to see.
Minister, you do us a great honor visiting us out of all the many other responsibilities that must vie for your attention.
Oh, come now, do not think yourself so insignificant. The entire kingdom owes you its thanks, myself included, of course. We are so grateful for House Wolford's aid, even though you now serve a different master.
We are only doing what any of King Roland's loyal vassals would.
Speaking of the king, I'm afraid we've a bit of a problem.
Claro, ya se proclamando el rey nada de esto.
His Majesty seems to be entertaining thoughts of retaliating against Esfrost. But the people have had their fill of war, and I'm sure you're already aware the people look upon the royal line with disfavor. I only beg you take every care going forward.
Porque no hacen cosas como fraguelada con lo del gobierno.
A warning.
Sí, sí que ha sido una advertencia, compañero.
Even so, there is naught we can do but focus on rebuilding.
Indeed. Let us return to the king and apprise him of our progress.
I would walk the city with Gila a bit longer and speak with the people.
As you wish. But this is not the capital you knew. Be careful, my love.
Hecho, mi amor. Ten cuidado, mi amor. Aún no están casados. Historia de personaje, joder, como me gustaría saltármela. Ya no hay casa Ariel, que sigue apareciendo como si fueran sus dominios. Nada. A ver. Joder.
Lord Serenoa, may I speak with you?
About that noblewoman, yes? Eridor's told me what happened.
Forgive me. I know that I should have waited for your orders before acting. But I could not leave that woman to her devices. The longer the war goes on, the more the people suffer. I imagine their feelings toward their rulers must be souring. In spite of this, that woman tried to use your name to wrest their food away. Had we let her go free, people would have thought she was acting on your orders, and their mistrust of you would have only grown. I believed we had to show them that soldiers stand for justice, and acted. I accept whatever punishment you deem fit.
There will be no punishment, for you have committed no wrong.
My lord.
Anna looked into her. It seems that woman's ill repute dates back to her days in Glenbrook. Likely, she thought to obfuscate her misdeeds in the Crown City by hiding within my troops. But she wasn't able to conceal her true self in the end. I suppose she thought to earn my favor with the stolen food. Unfortunately for her, she misjudged my principles.
Lord Serenoa.
Forgive me for my oversight in this matter. I shall take all necessary precautions to ensure nothing like it happens again.
So, you aren't upset with me for throwing a noblewoman in jail?
No, para nada.
Had I been in your position, I would have done the very same. For her misdeeds in Glenbrook and the crime you caught her committing, I shall order her banished at once. She will never again be welcome in the Wolfort domain. Let it serve as a deterrent to any others who would prey upon the common people. It is rare that I meet someone so committed to holding those of high birth accountable for their actions. I hope you will continue to do so. House Wolfort must be a house the people can trust.
Of course, my lord. You have my word. I knew I made the right choice. Unlike Patriat, Lord Serenoa is a man worth serving. Yes, I finally found where I am meant to be.
Ostras, es uno de los hombres de Patriot. Ah, claro, por eso ahora sale esto. Lo de Patriot.
I cannot rest on my laurels. Yes, I must serve my new lord as best I can.
Debo de comprar las de estos, las cosas de aceleración para los turnos. Hombre, sortijas. Vale, mola. A ver, no sé qué de aceleración. Especie de aceleradora. Toma ya. Vale. G, toma 1200. ¿Qué cosas hay aquí? Ah, por cierto, he terminado dos de estos. He terminado este de aquí, este no. Este es 23. Elimina las unidades enemigas que ocupan el centro necroso. Una estrategia eficaz es atacarla a distancia desde las escaleras que rodean al campo. También puedes irte y luchar cuerpo a cuerpo. La ciudad de Wolf. Usas de ahí recuperar tu territorio a Serenoa en todo momento. Bueno, esto ya lo haré por mi cuenta. Porque total, lo que no he cogido son los objetos que hay aquí. Los 4000 estos. No los he cogido. Bueno, ya lo haré. ¿Es algo nuevo que comprar aquí? Orden de mérito. Orden real del mérito. Joder, qué bien. Que vamos a mejorar, compañero. Quizás sí que seas útil. Nicolás.
This day shall be ours.
Vestido de caballo, brillo del dragón. Vale. Inflige daño físico a un enemigo y lo hace retroceder 3 casillas. Inflige daño físico a los enemigos que esté sobre 5 casillas en línea recta. Joder. Joder. Como hay más mejoras de clase, voy a mejorar a esta. Y como os lo digo yo. Ahora este es un must.
I hear the cries of those in need.
También a la figura, quizás. No, me lo guardaré para alguien. Debería de probar mejorar a este. Habilidad de largo alcance. Debería de probarlo. Que trabajo a nivel 20. Por si acaso. ¿Qué pasa en el pueblo? Bueno, en las murallas de la ciudad.
There are more who accepted Esfrost's rule than I imagined.
Glenbrook's history is long. Yet, that is why hierarchy and precedent hold sway. This is a stubborn land, my lady, not given to easy change. Though Archduke Gustadolf, acting in the name of freedom, granted privilege after privilege to the powerful. For people used to Glenbrook's rigid customs, I suppose that sort of change must have been too seductive to resist.
Perhaps. But his freedom was naught but greed and cruelty.
Lady Frederica, I've been searching everywhere for you.
A Wolffort messenger. Did you run all this way? What's happening?
My lady, I hail from Castle Wolffort, bearing tidings of Lord Simon.
Has he awakened?
He has. He is in high spirits and recovering well.
Fantástico.
And he is most pleased to hear of the capital's recapture. He bids you visit Castle Wolffort so he can honor you himself.
Oh, I must bring these glad tidings to Serenoa at once. How long it has been since I've seen him smile.
There is one more bit of news I have for you, my lady, but it is not so happy.
Is there some sort of trouble in the Wolffort domain?
Bandits are laying waste to the Rosellan village.
¿Qué?
To our shame, Castle Wolffort does not have enough soldiers to stop this. We would beg Lord Serenoa's wisdom in this matter.
The enemy must be powerful indeed. We cannot leave the Rosellan village defenseless.
Exacto.
Let us inform the others. Messenger, with us.
Well, well. Things are about to get interesting.
China esta. No la puedo elegir en el equipo. sea que no es permanente. Vale.
A coronation ceremony. Certainly there are more important matters to focus on right now.
A coronation is important to assuage the people's fears and restore their faith. Besides which, it is the Royalists' most fervent wish. A kingdom is only truly as strong as people believe it to be, and right now the world believes Glenbrook weak. The ceremony will be a display to the contrary.
Is this truly the remedy our situation calls for? Right now, I imagine the people care only for where their next hot meal will come from.
Rest assured, sire, House Wolford will see your subjects shan't go hungry. But trust me when I say nothing will hasten Glenbrook's return to her former glory so much as announcing the return of Regna's rightful heir. To win your subjects' hearts, you need do nothing but ascend to your position upon the throne.
You mean sit my royal backside on a fancy chair?
In a manner of speaking. A king's duty is first and foremost serving as his kingdom's symbol. You needn't trouble yourself with day-to-day governance. We will assume that burden. After all, you have only just been crowned.
There will be no ceremony. The people will tell us what they need, and you will listen to them, Patriot. That is my command.
Ale.
As you wish, King Roland.
How fare things, Huette? Have the relief supplies been given to those who need it?
Well, we had received a sizable shipment of goods from Hyzant, but there are complaints. It seems very few of those goods have made it into the hands of the people.
And why is that?
We aren't certain, though apparently Patriot and the Royalists involve themselves with the distribution.
Damn those Royalists! They cannot be left to their own devices.
Ay, lucha, por favor. Dos luchas así, bien, vamos. Bueno, espero que sean dos luchas. Una contra los bandidos y otra contra los realistas. Vale. Ah, nos tendrá que decir, que elegir si los bandidos o los realistas. Obviamente vamos a salvar a los Rosé, sí o sí.
House Wolfort and Minister Exham's forces have reclaimed the Crown City. And not only that, they have dealt a heavy blow to the Esfrosti forces in killing Thalas and other commanding officers.
We couldn't have hoped for a better outcome.
Oh, to see Gustadolf's face when he hears the news. Now he'll have no choice but to come crawling to us on hands and knees, begging. No, this could be our chance to crush the duchy once and for all.
Just because they're licking their wounds does not make them easy prey. They still have their iron, after all.
Iron? We can get iron. All we need do is make Glenbrook hand over the Grand Norzelian mines to us. A paltry price to pay for our bountiful aid in their restoration of the Crown City.
¿Tú quién eres, compañero?
The Grand Norzelian mines. The spark that lit the flame of Esfrost's aggression. But why go through the trouble to seize an iron source when they have all the iron they could ever need? I should have Milo look into the matter.
Minister Idor?
Well, regardless, we control the salt. I say we bide our time until Esfrost admits they are defeated. Besides, Glenbrook seeks our aid in their reconstruction efforts, do they not?
Yes. King Roland and Minister Serenoa have both asked for help, and sent reports detailing the extent of the damage to the Crown City.
Send forth a veritable bounty. To Minister Serenoa of the Saintly Seven, that is.
Ah, yes. A show of the goddess's grace to the people, and as a wedge to drive between him and the king.
Esfrost, Glenbrook, they will both be ours before long.
Vaya, qué hijos de puta todos. Pero así de claro lo digo. Vale. A ver si esta vez no me salto cosas. Vale.
Thank you all for helping to determine the extent of the damage to the capital. This information will be invaluable as we proceed with reconstruction. There is also happy word from Castle Wolfort. My Lord Father is awake. They say he is recovering apace and is already up and walking.
Those are glad tidings indeed.
He says he would like to see us and hear of all that has passed while he was taken ill.
Then what are we waiting for? I'll saddle the horses.
Would that we could depart at once, but the messenger brought another piece of news.
Bandits plague the outskirts of the Rosellen village.
Jerome and his folk are there. They can handle a few mangy thieves, surely.
Not according to the messenger. The bandits are proving a formidable foe.
Which is why they have asked us for aid.
Apologies for my tardiness. It's sudden, I know, but I must ask you a favor.
What is it?
I suspect Patriot and his royalists of filching relief supplies.
We've no proof it's them, but the fact remains. The people in most need of those goods are not receiving them.
Joder, no me jodes de que tengo que elegir entre ayudar a la gente o a los Rosé.
The matter warrants investigating at the very least, and I would ask for Wolfort's assistance.
I see. Well, we were just discussing what we ought to do next. Allow me to explain the 3 courses of action before us.
3, eh?
1. Return to Castle Wolfort as my Lord Father requests.
Está afuera.
2. Defend the Rosellen village from bandits. Or 3. Remain in the capital to investigate the royalists.
Lord Simon has recovered. What splendid news. If I could only go to him myself and thank him for all House Wolfort has done. But I cannot leave the capital in the throes of a possible scandal. Too many hold the royal family in contempt as it is.
That may be the case, but now that Lord Simon has awoken, someone must make sure he is healthy and apprise him of recent events.
No, los Rosé de mi esposa, por favor, sí o sí.
I would go to Castle Wolfort, Lord Serenoa, if it pleases you.
My heart breaks for the Rosellen village. Let me go to its defense, even if I must go alone.
I cannot allow that. It's far too dangerous a task for one person.
Well, I would have the Wolfort soldiers with me, of course. Do you recall our first meeting?
Of course I do. You were being assailed by rogues at the port.
If you hadn't been there, who knows what would have become of me. But I am not as weak now as I was then. I am stronger, enough that I shall bring no dishonor to House Wolfort's name. My lord, have faith in me.
Vamos a decidirlo con las escadas de lanza.
Very well.
It seems best that Benedict, Frederica, and I each attend to these pressing matters.
Indeed, but the rest of us cannot be in 3 places at once. We can only choose one path to take. Bring the scales of conviction.
Elijo a Frederica. Puedo quedarme tranquilo. Hemos reconquistado la capital y empezado a restaurarla, no deberíamos dudar demasiado sobre lo que debemos de hacer aquí. Deberían tranquilizarme estas circunstancias, pero... ¿Puedo salir? Sí. A ver, ¿qué decís vosotras? Tu hija de fruta. No, sois un hombre sumamente interesante. Ni más ni menos que un señor vasallo de Glaucurgo, luego ungido de Dunálgida y después héroe liberador del reino. Tengo una curiosidad por ver cómo os recibirán en vuestro hogar tras todas estas hazañas. Permitidme acompañaros en vuestro retorno. Si voy a los dominios de Wolford, parece que Milo querrá acompañarme. Pero antes de nada vamos a coger objetos. No parece. O por aquí. Madera excepcional. Hierro excepcional. Exceptional stone. Oh. Amuleto de la alteración. Hace que la unidad sea inmune a todos los estados alterados. ¡Hostia! 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 Menos 3 de defensa. Sí, sin dudarlo. Sin dudarlo. La defensa. Ataque mágico, sortija de poder mágico. No. Amuleto de defensa física. Sortija de defensa física, sí. Defensa mágica. Defensa física. Defensa física, vale, defensa física. Ostras, este no tiene nada. Defensa física, vale. PV quizás para que sobreviva más. De golpe crítico. Bueno. Ataque mágico. Vale. Casi 24. La inmunidad es la hostia. ¿Vas en algún lugar? Vale, pues vamos por aquí. Nuestras reservas de sal han menguado casi por completo. Tenemos que volver a abrir las vías de comercio con Dunálgida. Por favor, don Serino, le agradeceríamos que interceda por nosotros como ungido. No tienes de qué preocuparte, la compañía de Norselia ya intercederá junto a los mercaderes. No podemos negociar con lo opuesto, se aprovecharán de nosotros. Tenemos que mantener la calma y sospechar cómo debemos proceder. Nos hace falta la autorización de su majestad el rey Roland. Mientras tanto, podemos ceder parte de nuestras reservas de Wolford. Eso. No es un poco inapropiado. No deberíamos permitir que la compañía interceda en nuestro nombre. La reapertura del comercio llegará a su debido momento, claro está. Pero antes que nada debemos estabilizar nuestras redes de provisiones salinas. Es una manera más rápida y más ordenada de conseguir ese fin. Pronto volverá todo a la normalidad. Comprendo. Es lo que toca en estos tiempos. Debemos adaptarnos como podamos en vez de regirnos por patrones convencionales. Me siento más tranquilo tras hablar con usted, don Wolford. Qué hombre de gran valía. ¡Qué hombre de gran valía! Me quedé patidifuso cuando me enteré de que su majestad había sobrevivido. Es increíble cómo la casa Wolford plantó cara a la adversidad y liberó la capital de Glaucoburgo. Juro que serviré con toda mi lealtad y por siempre a la casa real. Qué humillante fue avasallarnos bajo el gobierno de Fraguelada. Pero las gentes de la casa Wolford y de cómo... pero las gestas de la casa Wolford y de cómo liberó la capital son música para nuestros oídos y néctar para nuestro espíritu. Vale. Usted, mujer, ¿qué tiene que decir? Señorita. De señora, señorita, ya está. El consejero Patriat cuenta con la ayuda de nosotros, los realistas, para construir este reino. Claro está, no se trata de una cuestión meramente educativa, edificativa. Hay que derrocar también los cambios promulgados por Fraguelada. Hay mucho por hacer aún, pero con paciencia todo saldrá adelante. Dejad que nos ocupemos de los asuntos políticos. Serviremos juntos a su majestad, el rey Roland. Confiaremos en vuestro buen hacer para gestionar las cuestiones políticas y calmar al pueblo. Es cierto que los realistas hincasteis la rodilla al archiduque para protegeros. Si queréis que confiemos en vosotros, contadnos cuánto hayáis aprendido de Fraguelada bajo su dominio. No sé nada. Ojalá pudiera ayudaros, pero el archiduque Gustadolf solo nos confía los deberes más irrisorios de su gobierno. No tengo ni la más remota idea de cómo funcionaba todo por dentro. Me sorprende que Gustadolf no confió en quienes no pertenecieran ya a su círculo de confianza. Pero ahora que pienso en ello, el consejero Patriat nos contó alguna vez que la dama Erika exigía tener fruta fresca y vino de su cámara a todas horas. De acuerdo. Gracias por contarme ese detalle. Muy útil. No, en serio. Noble, muy útil. Entonces, ¿cuántas hazañas he oído sobre vuestra persona? Se os nombró integrante de los 7 ungidos de Dunálgida. Además, la valía guerrera que habéis mostrado como señor de una casa vasalla. Y aquí que esto nos lleva a preguntarnos a los realistas, ¿cómo deberíamos referirnos a vos en adelante? Señor del universo, Serino. Han visto un clan de bandidos rondar la aldea Rosé. Por ahí se dice que sus cabecillas son un padre y una hija. Digo su nombre en la punta de la lengua. ¿Un padre y una hija? ¿Será la bandida de Travis y Trish otra vez? ¿Qué es lo que planean? Vale, pues hemos hablado aquí con todos. Sí. Ahora vamos a guardar. aquí ya terminará el capítulo, así que eso, hasta aquí este capítulo. Soy Sevedat y nos vemos en un próximo directo de vídeo. Chao.